Look over there. Do you see it? That vast land over there. John is building us a mansion worth $1 million. I only have to pay $100,000. Typical of a doctor, right? Oh, was that a tough story to hear from someone who John left? Sorry about that.
I'm dumbfounded of how tactless and insensitive my ex-husband's new wife is. Indeed, from this cafe, you can see a mansion being built on that vast land. Given its proximity to the station and downtown area, the land would indeed be worth $1 million. However, such a thing would be impossible for my ex-husband, John. After all, John is. My name is Lucy. Suddenly, I find myself suffering from insomnia due to stress. The cause of the stress is my husband, John. I had an arranged marriage with John, who is 10 years older than me. At the time, I wasn't seeing anyone, and since John wanted to marry me, I said yes. But the main reason was that my parents wanted me to marry John. John, being a doctor, earns more money than the average person. This made John proud and confident. However, that pride and confidence became completely overbearing when directed at me, his wife.
What's with this food? At least make my favorite dishes for dinner.
But eating only your favorite food is bad for your health. I made this so you'd eat more vegetables. Is that so bad?
Yes, it's bad.
It is John's routine to say something about the food I prepare every time he comes back home. Sometimes he'd eat it, but not because he wants to. But when John is in a bad mood, he'd sometimes throw away the dinner I prepared right in front of me. Then, he would tell me to order a takeout while he takes a bath, leaving me wiping my tears and calling his favorite restaurants for delivery several times. You might think that I should just divorce John, but my parents' expectations weigh heavy on me. My parents love money, and they are desperate to turn their poverty into luxury. That's why they made connections with the wealthy and arranged my marriage to John to ensure I married into wealth.
It's really great that Lucy married John. He takes care of us from time to time, and Lucy, you need to put up with a bit and keep living.
Don't throw away this golden opportunity just because John complains a little about dinner.
These are the things I hear when I rant to my parents about John. I love my parents, but I don't care about money. It realizing I was just a tool for them to ride into wealth. I've begun to question my value. Hence, I've been suffering from insomnia for a long time. Even after getting into bed, it takes me 2 hours to fall asleep. And just when I finally manage to get some deep sleep, the alarm I set for preparing breakfast goes off. John gets in a terrible mood if he doesn't have a specific set of food for breakfast. So I need to wake up early to prepare everything. Thinking taking a nap at noon, I once did. But John came home early from work by chance, found me sleeping, and yelled, "What kind of housewife are you? Just lazing around the house." Napping should be peaceful and comfortable, but it's a different story for me. Insomnia drains my energy and stress weighs on my heart. One day, I suddenly broke down. It took a toll on me physically and emotionally. My body cannot endure it anymore. It was then I first learned in life that the mind and body can indeed suddenly break down. While walking home from shopping, my legs suddenly stopped moving, and I couldn't move from that spot. I was so dizzy that I could hardly stand, and when I crouched down, I felt nauseous. My breathing became shallow, and just when I was about to be crushed by the thought of disappearing, I had a fateful encounter.
Are you okay? Should I call an ambulance?
The person who happened to be walking the same path and helped me when I suddenly crouched down was a younger girl named Mia. My first impression was that she was a girl with a beautiful face and seemed intelligent. Mia, patting my back as I started to hyperventilate, said, focus on breathing out. It's okay. I'm here for you, which truly helped me. Once I calmed down, for the first time in a long time, someone helped me. I thanked Mia repeatedly. Mia laughed and said, I didn't do a lot. That's too much. But I insisted on expressing my gratitude, so we exchanged numbers. When I asked if there was anything I could do in return, Mia thought for a moment and then said, well, there's a cafe I've been curious about. Let's check it out sometime. When I was single, cafe hopping was my hobby, and I had been to the cafe that Mia mentioned she was interested in. Naturally, I decided to go with her. We went to the cafe and had pancakes. Mia's gesture of pressing her cheeks saying, delicious, was adorable. Although not as beautiful, it reminded me of myself before marrying John. I used to work as an office employee. I had a fulfilling career and was involved in product development. I had no interest in marriage whatsoever, only thinking about what products would make the customers happy. I was completely absorbed in my work, constantly thinking about it. Some of the products we developed under my lead became the company's flagship products. I was even commended by the president, and work was my very reason for living. However, John believed that if a wife works, it implies the husband can't provide enough. So I had to give up my job. Mia had a mysterious aura, and as we became friends and met a few times, I ended up talking about my insomnia, how much I loved my job, and how my marriage with John was difficult and painful. I thought Mia wouldn't like hearing sad stories. Despite that, Mia listened intently without showing any sign of being bored. And then she offered me words that felt like a revelation.
Why not just run away? Away from your husband and your parents. Lucy, you're too kind, trying your best to meet the expectations of your husband and parents, but you only have one life. It's a waste to spend it just to meet others' expectations. You're a talented person, and you should live your life for yourself.
Mia's words struck me like a bolt of lightning. It's okay to run away. That option had disappeared from my mind at some point. What would happen if I ran away? My parents would be disappointed, and without a job, I might end homeless. Despite being scared, Mia's words, I should live my life for myself, encouraged me. I presented John with divorce papers. It seemed like John, as usual after work, was ready to nitpick at the dinner I made. He looked at the table, saying, where's dinner? And his eyes widened at the divorce papers laid there. I calmly stated, please, sign the divorce papers. Inside, I was trembling in fear. But Mia's words supported me. Naturally, the egotistic John yelled, raged, and insulted me. But still, I did not back down and insisted the divorce. As a result, and out of his anger, John signed the divorce papers. After receiving the divorce papers, I went straight to the municipal office to file it on the same day. I moved into an apartment I rented using my personal savings. John, of course, told my parents about it. My parents called like mad, saying, you ungrateful child. Apologize to John now and make up with him, and made a fuss online. But I blocked and cut ties with all of them. Although my parents raised me, they are just an obstacle in my life when they no longer see me as anything more than a cash cow. The guilt of abandoning my parents made me sleepless again. But I have decided to cherish my own life, so my resolve did not waver. During a holiday, I went cafe hopping with Mia. I told her about divorcing John and cutting ties with my parents. Mia sincerely congratulated me, saying, congratulations, and refused to let me pay for anything at the cafe that day. This is a celebration, Mia said, secretly ordering a cake at the cafe as a gift for me, which moved me to tears. After leaving my overbearing husband and parents who saw me only as a cash cow, I spent some time healing my mind and body at my own pace. To the outside world, I might have seemed like nothing but a need, but I felt this time was necessary for me. I spent my days reading books I love, watching movies, and idly spending time in a nearby park. Such relaxed moments slowly but surely healed my mind and body. But then, one day, I received a call from an unknown number. Since I had started job hunting, I thought it might be a call from a company where I had interviewed and decided to answer it. Then, I heard a young woman's voice on the other end of the line.
Oh, hello. You're John's ex-wife, right? I'm Sarah. I was wondering if we could meet at a cafe. I'd like to talk about something. Can we have a chat?
Caught off guard, I blurted out a huh. But the woman, Sarah, continued speaking. Sarah appears to be John's new wife. She's only 23 years old. John is more than 10 years older than her, which shocked me. But Sarah made it clear that she married him for money. It seems John started making advances to Sarah, a nurse at the hospital where he worked, while he was still married to me. Sarah apparently liked John's advances. It seems that they had been having an affair even while I was married to him. However, the situation changed after John and I divorced. John promised Sarah that if she married him, she could spend as much money as she wanted, even promising to give her $100,000 after getting married. Sarah, who had been having an affair just for fun, got blinded by money and quit her nursing job to marry John. She intended to leave him soon after getting the money. But since John was kinder to her than expected, Sarah decided to continue the relationship. Thus, Sarah, having gotten my number from John, had the audacity to contact me wanting to know all about John. Of course, I wanted nothing to do with it, so I refused. Sarah was angry, but I didn't care. The next day, I had plans to meet Mia, and when I told her about Sarah's call, Mia started saying something unexpected.
Why not meet her? I'll go with you, she suggested.
Mia thought that if it was 2 against 1, even the audacious Sarah wouldn't say anything stupid. Unsure why I needed to meet Sarah, I questioned Mia's suggestion. But Mia assured me, it's okay. I will definitely protect you. So I decided to meet Sarah, without caring that I changed my mind. Sarah exclaimed, "Great, let's meet at this coffee shop," and even specified the location. Sarah abruptly ended the call saying she had made a reservation at a cafe in the downtown area. Thinking she was rather hasty, Mia and I went to meet Sarah, who accepted Mia joining us without any complaints. From then on, it felt like Sarah was on a stage. She went on about how much John loved her and how much money she was getting from him. I thought marrying an older guy was not for me, but it's surprisingly okay. She laughed, asking about John's favorite foods, dishes, and his past, wanting to leave the noisy Sarah as soon as possible. I continued to answer her questions indifferently. During this, Mia's expressionless stare at Sarah with her beautiful face was scary, unaware of Mia's intimidating demeanor. Sarah suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, by the way," and pointed outside the cafe's window.
Look over there. Do you see it? That vast land over there. John is building us a mansion worth $1 million. I only have to pay $100,000. Typical of a doctor, right? Oh, was that a tough story to hear from someone who John left? Sorry about that.
I'm dumbfounded of how tactless and insensitive my ex-husband's new wife is. Indeed, from this cafe, you can see a mansion being built on that vast land. Given its proximity to the station and downtown, the land would indeed be worth $1 million. However, Such a thing would be impossible for John. How could John do that? He doesn't have work anymore. To my murmured question, Sarah responded with a puzzled seemingly uninformed. Sarah retorted, "No way. John is a doctor, isn't he?" I shook my head and denied it, saying, "No. John isn't a doctor anymore. He was. But I heard he got fired after divorcing John. I heard from an acquaintance that he was fired for a medical error." When I mentioned this, Sarah looked shocked, saying, "That can't be true," revealing she was unaware John had been fired. As I was dumbfounded by the situation, Mia, who had been silent, spoke up.
Sarah, you are being deceived. That mansion is definitely not a house for you and John to live in.
What?
To the baffled Sarah, Mia added insult to injury by saying something unbelievable.
That house was built by me for Lucy. Your husband is not a doctor but a con artist, especially skilled in marriage fraud, swindling money from various women.
Mia calmly took a brown envelope from her bag and handed it to Sarah. Receiving the envelope in a fluster, Sarah dropped it on the table, exclaiming, "This can't be true," in a scream-like voice. Photos of John spending time with various women scattered on the table. However, what was more intriguing was Mia's statement that the mansion was built by her for me. "Mia, can you explain what all this means?" Mia provided a thorough explanation to both the shaken Sarah and me. It turns out Mia had hidden the fact that she was the president of a well-known major company. Not wanting me to feel pressured, Mia believed I had talent in product development and wanted to hire me. Thinking that simply offering me a job might not fully convey her intentions, so she decided to gift me the mansion as a sign of really wanting to hire me. Also, Mia, who wanted to somehow avenge the suffering that John caused me, used a private investigator, which revealed that John was a fraudster. She reported him with evidence today, so by now, John should have been arrested. Sarah thinking the mansion Mia built for me was her own was just a coincidence. It was one of the lies John told Sarah. Sarah turned pale and trembled, saying, "So, I was just swindled out of $100,000, even though we're married."
Yes. It seems John planned to divorce you soon after swindling the $100,000 from you. We have an audio recording made by the detective. Do you want to listen to it?
When Mia said this, Sarah cried out, "I don't want to hear it," and left the cafe in tears. Left behind, I was dumbfounded. But then Mia began to persuade me. Mia's words, asking me to share my talent in her company's product development department, truly made me happy. When I said I would have worked with her even without such a mansion as a signing bonus, Mia laughed and said, "I have a habit of spoiling people." Afterwards, it seems that John was arrested, and naturally, Sarah divorced him, thinking she could live a wealthy life. Sarah had apparently made significant purchases with credit cards and ended up in debt. As for me, I developed a bed mat for people suffering from insomnia in the product development department. The bed mat became a sensation, sold rapidly, and I quickly rose through the ranks. I've been able to gradually pay back Mia for the money for the mansion she gave me. Sleeping on the bed mat I developed in the mansion makes my past struggles with insomnia seem like a lie. I enjoy my work and cherish the days with my friend Mia. I am fully enjoying this once-in-a-lifetime journey. I am still grateful to Mia for reminding me that running away sometimes is an option,